that's a big step, right? That's a big thing to do. You work through the fears that try to come in, and it's like visualize that fear sitting on your shoulder, like going in your ear because it sees you trying to connect. Hello, beautiful creatures. Welcome to my channel. I am Aradia, the Witch of Dark Light, and I hope you all are doing well. I'm making this video at the request of a patron, and I actually am kind of excited about making it because this is a topic that a lot of people struggle with. And I want to sit and share what I feel helped me understand how to meditate, or at least how to explain to others to help them in that process. Because meditation kind of was something that I wasn't as difficult for me because I love to sit and imagine things and sit and meditate on things. So it wasn't that difficult for me, but I have gained the tools over the years to understand what kind of works. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the misconceptions and some tools and techniques that maybe can help you, and figuring out what style of meditation works best for you. So if you want to hear a little bit about that, let's get into it.
Can't have one without the other. The dark without the light.
Firstly, I would like to burn some Palo Santo. I meant to do that already. Meditation is something that when you come into the world of spirituality and the world of being a witch, a shaman, an occultist, working with magic. So this is something that is very integral to a lot of these paths. So it can be very frustrating when you have a difficult time doing this. And many people do, because we spend so much time, we have spent so much time throughout our lives having to always think or critical think or engineer something in the way that we think and create ideas and just get through life. So we're always thinking and we're always on the go. And this is how society is. And so we've had to be a part of society. So for us to do that, we have to, just keep going with the flow or get rolled over, right? So when we cross into the world of spirituality, as I have mentioned, we are told, one of the first principles, one of the foundations, one of the basics is spend time meditating, spend time connecting. Most of the time when we are instructed to meditate, we're not really given the actual tools, the methods. And a lot of the times it's like, yes, you just meditate, and what you have to do, the most important thing you have to do is make sure you spend the time or set out the time for you to do this. While yes, that is important, but the most important thing is, what does meditation look like for you? Because it looks different for everyone. And you aren't told that this is going to be a very difficult thing. I think when we are instructed to meditate, and whatever that looks like for you, if you are in a coven, if you are solitary, if you are in some sort of, like, whatever your practice looks like, usually meditation is involved, and it's involved in a way that it goes with whatever your ritual practice is. So when that happens, at that time is when you should really focus on what is meditation, right? Not, oh, I need to do meditation, because meditation is sitting and connecting and being one with myself and connecting to the universe and just being quiet. When we go into meditation, the biggest problem is our mind, right? We're told to quiet our mind, right? That right there is where the problem begins, because I don't feel that we should be shutting our minds up, right? I don't feel that, especially when you are first starting to meditate, I don't feel like you should be trying to shut your mind up, quieting your mind. Because when we sit and try to go into the zone, this is the time where we are, like when we are sleeping. This is why we could dream when we sleep, because our faculties are kind of shut down enough that we are able to astral travel and go into the dreamland and go into our subconscious. So during meditation, this is what you are trying to achieve. And what happens is your mind begins to speak. And because you are in a quieted state, this is the time where your mind, all the things that your mind was trying to tell you, is going to come up. I'm going to say the first thing that I feel happens is fear. Whatever fear shows up in a myriad of ways. So if you are plagued by certain fears in your life, the fear of not accomplishing your goals, right? That's right up there. That's like number one, because you go into meditation with the fear of not being able to do meditation. So we all have at some point or another fear in our life. Fear speaks quite a bit. It's very loud. So during meditation, what's going to happen is fear is going to show up in all forms, shapes, thoughts, and you're going to have this fear of I don't have enough time to do this, or I should be doing something else, or is the stove, did I leave the stove on, did I turn it off, or I feel like somebody's calling me, let me go check my phone. That's a big one for me. Like we've gotten so used to checking our phones all the time that even in meditation is like, I feel like somebody's calling me, maybe I should go check my phone. That's a fear, right? Fear of all of these things begin to come up during meditation. So those things are, when it's a fear, these are the things that you need to kind of quiet. The second thing is, well, let me go back. By quieting them, you sit and work through them, right? You stand your ground and you go, no, I don't need to answer that phone right now. No, I didn't leave the stove. Everything is fine. You go through that process of all of the things that are coming up, and you stand your ground. So after you do that, and that's going to take time, and that may be, when you first start, that may be the length of your meditation, right? Getting to that point where you're like confident enough to shut down those fears. Now, the next thing that happens is things come up where your subconscious has been trying to tell you or has been reaching out. These are the things that you shouldn't shut down. These are the things that, this is some of the reason why you meditate. The purpose is for you to be able to clear the channels to connect. The channels are blocked with all of these things in your subconscious blocking the way. So meditation is important because you begin to hear those things. You begin to hear what you cannot hear in the busy day, and your mind always working. So when you sit in that quiet space, almost like when you are shutting down your faculties when you go to sleep, this is that time where your subconscious can speak to you. So when those questions or when those things come up, you deal with them, each question or each thought at a time. And some of those thoughts can almost sound like fear, right? Some of those thoughts come up. Am I meditating right? Or you have a thought about something in the past, and that is 100% something that you should stay with. Work with that. Why am I having this thought? Why is this thought coming up? Is there something I need to heal from? Is this a trauma that is trying to present itself? That my subconscious is saying, this is in here. I need you to hear me. I need you to know that I exist, and I need to come out and express myself so that I can work through this and transmute those energies. So having a mind that speaks a lot, you should really pay attention to that. Don't look at that as I can't meditate. Look at that as my subconscious is trying to speak to me. My fears are presenting themselves. So in this way, your fears, when they present themselves, it's like, aha, I got you. Now I know that you exist, and now I know that I need to work through this. So when you are going into meditation, it is good, especially when you are just starting, that you hear this chatter, because this is the chatter you cannot hear in your busy day. So don't look at this as a failure, that you can't quiet your mind. If you are this is what you do all day. You shut your mind down. You shut those thoughts down because you are concentrating on other things. Meditation is for that time, for your subconscious thoughts. Meditation is for you to heal those things. Hear them. Hear what your body is trying to say. Hear what your subconscious is trying to speak to you. So don't try to quiet your mind. Listen to it. Hear what it's trying to say. That's a big step, right? That's a big thing to do. You work through the fears that try to come in, and it's like visualize that fear sitting on your shoulder, like going in your ear, because it sees you trying to connect. It sees you working through things. It sees you trying to work through these things. It sees you trying to heal. It sees you trying to evolve. So that fear is like, nope, we have to stop her. Let's send all these images of fear. Let's send the things that we know she's scared of or he's scared of. Let's create this atmosphere that makes this person fearful. These thoughts, these words, these sounds. So when you acknowledge that this is fear, you can work through it a little better, because it's almost like if you know somebody's trying to bully you, you stand your ground, you get pissed. You're like, wait a second, you know what? I'm not, this is fear. This is not a part of me. You are just trying to stop me from doing what it is that I need to do. And then you go get to the next step of working through the thoughts and the past memories that come up. This is where fear is easy to come in, because it's attaching itself to all of those things that is in your subconscious. It knows how to play on those things. So you really have to listen to what is coming up. This is your path to connecting, to healing, to acclimating all of those things that you try to acclimate and work through in shadow work. So the other thing is the techniques. Everyone has a different technique. We are not always, I laugh at this every time I say it, like we're not always going to be in a yoga pose and like all love and lights, clear the minds, and let's just connect and channel our energies. It is not always going to be like that. I always say one of the things that I love is meditating with candlelight, or like a form of meditative scrying. And there's many ways to meditate. You have to find what works for you, with music, without music, with a picture. Some of us have a difficult time imagining things, so you could take a picture that is reminds you of a safe space, makes you feel good. Take a picture and just stare into the picture and just sit with that. You have to, don't listen to the way anybody else meditates. Think about that when you sit down. Find out if the position that you're sitting in, if it's comfortable for you. Does it allow you to go into that state? Is it too quiet for you? Do you need music? And if you do need music, what I would suggest is instrumental and nothing with words, because the power of suggestion through words can infiltrate. So do you need music? Do you need, because I know for me, when I go to sleep, which you can kind of apply it to meditation, do you need soundscapes? Like I go to sleep with the ocean sounds. Do you need something like that? Water sounds to help you go into meditation. There's so many ways that can aid you, that is in alignment with your energy, and that helps you get into that state where you can begin to hear those thoughts, work through those thoughts, and eventually get to where your mind isn't so full of chatter, because fear knows it cannot come in, because you have shown it that regardless, and it'll always try to come in, but not so much, because you have shown it that, okay, if you present yourself, I know who you are, and I am going to proceed because I want to evolve. Almost like Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings. You shall not pass. Yeah, so I love that scene. You shall not pass, right? You think of if you go to meditation, think of Gandalf when he's like, you know what, he doesn't look like much, but he takes that staff and he stands his ground and he's like, you shall not pass, right? This is when you get to that point, right? When you get to that point after practice, because it takes practice, you can't be like one and done, like you sit down and like, I can't do this. Then you have successfully let fear conquer you. So you want to get to the point where I'm going to do this. Those thoughts of fear, I'm going to work through, I'm going to conquer them. Those thoughts of my past memories, the thoughts of the times where I felt like a failure, the thoughts of the time where traumatic experiences happened in my life. You're going to work through those things. So you can best work through them once you figure out what it is or how you like to meditate, because you have to do it in a style that works best for you, so that you can even get to the chatter, right? So I'm happy that this question was asked, because so many people have this issue, and so many people are told that they need to quiet their mind. There's a whole process that you have to go through to get to that point where your mind is quiet. Going through life, we don't realize that our subconscious is like always talking, because we have all of these other things that that we work with in the conscious mind, that we only see in the conscious mind. that we are used to in the conscious mind in our day-to-day mundane life. These are the things that are always present. So this is what we hear more, versus trying to hear the subconscious. So this is why all that chatter happens when you sit in quiet. So that is what I wanted to share on meditation and that misconception about having to be quiet or having to clear your mind. And I'm not going to say so much that it's a misconception. What I'm going to say is what should be talked about more is before you can quiet that mind, what has to happen before you get to that step or that phase of meditating. Because there's phases, right? There's just the phases of you working through first figuring out what it is, what meditation looks like for you. Do you like to gaze into the fires? All of those things I mentioned. Find out what meditation looks like for you, and then maybe try it out, because you may try one style and you're like, that doesn't quite work for me. Find what works for you, and then you can work on going through all of the things that come up for you, all of the images that come up for you. And if you're good at imagery, and the images that come up via fear, you can kind of change those images, right? You can manipulate those images and change them to be something else. So if you have an image of, I know fear actually a lot of times presents itself with something happening, right? So say you think about somebody getting hurt, change that image to seeing a bunch of flowers. Something that makes you happy, right? You can manipulate that image. So work through that. That's one way to work through the fears, right? You stand your ground and you say, no, I see flowers. I see a field of roses, right? Whatever flowers you love, or whatever it is that you love, change the images that come into your mind when it comes to fear. So if you have any questions or thoughts on the way that you meditate, I'd love to hear those. So that is all I wanted to share with you lovelies on today. And if this is your first time coming through here, and even if you come through here before and you aren't subscribed, please do consider subscribing, helping my videos get pushed out there. I know this is something a lot of people say, but it's the truth. Helping our videos get pushed out there into the algorithm is helpful and appreciated. So until the next video, I love you all, and into the shadows. Take the time out to